Cam Radio, we go ham. It's your boy Tony G, Big Blue, the sports book, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Lots to talk about. Um, Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope you had a great weekend. Well, lots to talk about. NBA is pretty hot right now. I don't know. Did you see um, the Thunder the other night? The Thunder and San Antonio.
Uh,
Holy
I, I
cow!
man, I missed the good one. I missed the good one. I didn't catch that game. I did see Boston, Denver. I did watch that game, but I missed the OKC game. That's one of the games I want to check out, and I missed it. So you're gonna have to get me. You're gonna have to
It was
bring
a
me up to speed on that one.
it was a shooting gallery. The over
Wow.
was 265. They had 150 at the half. And I was like, oh, because it was like 77, 72. And then, of course, Oklahoma walked, I mean, they walked away, but they scored. I'm trying to pull it up because I'm having a little bit of having the old internet issues. There we go. All
Yeah.
right. Scores. Okay. But yeah, it was. I mean, it was just a free for all. Had a little scuffle in there.
Hmm.
But I mean, it was. I'm trying to score. I should have had it. I know I should have had it already up, but
It's
the
all right. It's all right.
okay.
It's technology. It's technology. We all fall a victim to
All right.
it.
So it was 146 to 132.
Wow.
Yes, it was. I
So it
mean, we
was
were
just
watching it.
a
Yes,
it was just a
that was.
3-point frenzy.
They were they were getting at it. So the over did pay off. But yeah, they were going. It was just kind of like it was a point where because right now San Antonio's missing their superstar, but they got some other
Right.
talent there that can definitely shoot. Um,
Hmm.
the Thunder, they're the number one team,
Right.
and they look really good. The only thing that concerns me with them is their defensive play.
Yeah.
I mean that's my only. That's my yeah.
Yes.
They're number one in the Western Conference.
Hmm.
By far 49 and 11, and then Cleveland's number one in the Eastern Conference. But um, OKC can put up some numbers when they're on and popping. They're on and popping. Um, and your Lakers are really looking good.
Really
They're
looking
really
Lakers are really looking good. Because of the Denver loss, they are now they're now the 2 seed in the West
yes,
behind OKC. Now, how long can they keep that can they keep that spot is the question. Now I do feel like the Lakers are going to do great in the playoffs. Now, I'm not too big on them coming out of the West without a big,
right,
but I do believe that with the stretch wing players they have, they're going to make some noise in the Western Conference. I even have them, like as part of like the if you would say the Final Four, they would be uh the Final Four teams going forward. They will make some noise in the playoffs. But I'm not convinced yet that they're going to come out of the West as champions. Because, like you said, it's not football. You don't play it one time and it's over. It's
right.
series, and you got to beat them 3 out of 5 and 4 out of 7. And are you going to beat a team 4 times out of 7 when they know what your weakness is? They're going to exploit
Correct.
them.
I
I,
totally agree with you. Um, but I think if things line up just right, the path to the Western Conference could be one they can make. It all depends on who they end up playing. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Right.
and that's Denver to me is a concern with them in a
Me as
seven.
well.
Yeah, 7 games. Um, Even Memphis may be somewhat of a concern in a 7 game. Uh, Not really that concerned with Dallas, Minnesota, Sacramento. I mean, not really those. Those I'm not really that concerned with. If the like I said, if the path is set up right, that they have a good chance of going to the Western Conference championship. Um, and OKC does have a lot of bigs.
Yes, they do.
They're
Yes,
that's a
they
big
do.
team. Yeah, no pun intended, but that's a very big team.
Yeah, it's
Um,
very big team and a long team, so it'll be hard to get those inside buckets that you need to stay in the game.
True, true. There's no doubt. And LeBron, he's playing some time. He's not. I mean, he's 20 minutes plus. Um, but yeah, those are the teams that I can are concerning to me for the Lakers making it. But the way it's set up right now, with the Lakers being two, they could go a round or two with being able to avoid them. Um,
Right, right. And they won't have to worry about that until, they get into like the finals or the Western
right,
Conference Finals or something like that.
right. So that's interesting. That is interesting. Now going to the Eastern Conference,
Mhm.
you got Cleveland, the number one seed.
Yeah, they're just
Um,
running away with it.
they're just kind of running away with it. The teams that concern me for Cleveland is the top is the four is Milwaukee, New York, and Boston. I'm really not
Hmm.
that concerned about Indianapolis. I said Indianapolis. I'm not that
Indiana.
concerned about Indiana, only because
Right.
Indiana plays kind of a wide open ball. Um,
Yeah, they're not quite there yet. I think they
yeah,
need more vets. I think they need more uh veterans on court coaches.
right.
It seems
And
like
I
and no disrespect to the Pacers because, I do believe that everybody that plays on that level, deserve to be on that level. But it just on the surface, it looks like um they almost play like a college team without being disrespectful. Like, you're more
yeah,
reliant on the plays that your coach has to send out there, as opposed to having a general on the floor that when that play breaks down, he could create something. Now,
right.
I believe over time, and if they keep consistent like they are, they will get to the point where, they can uh, be some big time contenders. But they play good basketball, but like you say, you know, it's in streaks, and I just feel like they don't have the floor general that can, make things happen when there's nothing that they can do or something that, they can't figure out. They just need a veteran like that to get that team going.
The but going into the whole thing, seeing Detroit in the top six again is cool. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
that's cool.
It's
Yeah,
been
that's cool.
um, Miami seven, Orlando's eight, Atlanta's nine, Chicago. Now Atlanta, a couple years ago when Atlanta made their run the playoffs, we thought, well, man,
Hmm.
they're a piece or two away from putting it all together, and it just hasn't really panned out for them. It just hasn't. It just hasn't panned out. I don't know. A lot of times, we always talk about this. It goes about there's so much that the front office plays a factor. Um,
Yeah.
just like in Miami, all these years you're like, well, how come Jimmy Butler never got any help? And it was always the same answer, trying to come up from within and in our
Hmm.
in our farm, and that all sounds really great, but it didn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It didn't. Yeah. he only could
It
carry
didn't
them.
work.
Yeah, he carried them into the playoffs, made it first round, going into second. But that's where you saw like, golly, if he had some help, you know what I mean? He just he did very well with role players. You know what I mean? They had a couple, but no, he didn't have another superstar with him.
Right.
And you know, you look
And
at you
it just seems like to me that Miami is uh bent on doing this thing without the big three or the superstars like they had with Bosh and Wade and LeBron. I
right.
think they're driven to make this thing work without that because they got to the finals against LeBron during the pandemic. But I think they believe that they can make this thing work, with the formula that they have as opposed to going out and getting another star because, KD was out there.
Right.
It was plenty of guys that out there that they could have paired up with Jimmy and probably could make a good run in the East. But I just think Miami is an organization that believes that we're not going to go the star driven route anymore and get into cap hell and things of that nature. We're going to do it through drafting. We're going to do it through our farm, and we're going to groom our superstars ourselves as opposed to going to get one that's going to come with a lot of demands and a lot of money.
Yeah, like you said, you know, Miami is trying it a different way. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Jimmy Butler ended up somewhere else, so I
Mm-hmm.
guess you know it all depends on how you're. But you know, the more and more, the more and more, more and more Luca plays, the more and more I'm like, wow, they really picked. They're the ones that won on that trade.
Absolutely, because
Yeah,
now LeBron can finally play off ball. What he's been wanting to do for the past 4 or 5 seasons, get someone in that can handle the ball, set up the offense, let me play off ball and make plays that way instead of being, the center focus of the offense. Let me play a little bit off ball and catch some lobs. Let Luca control the pace of it. When he feels that when he's got it, you can let him have it, and he's going to rain threes all night. On the days that he don't, then he can just defer to LeBron, and with deferring to LeBron, that's going to open up other players for easy baskets
right.
under the rim, open threes. So it opens that offense up where LeBron can operate without the ball, and that's going to be great for them. That's why I was saying they're just a big away. If they get them a center, then hands down they could be in the Western Conference Finals and probably come out as the representative Western Conference.
Do you think watching the stuff going on with Embiid and Philly? You think he's going to be there at the end of the year? I think
I
he.
think
You think he
I
stays?
think I think Embiid stays. Paul George might be that might be another discussion, but I mean they're already in because he's got a Paul George did get a big contract from them, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, big. I mean, yeah, not too bad that they can't get out of. I mean, because he is at the. I mean, he. I don't know. They're just not going anywhere. And when they had
Yeah,
Harding, that didn't go. That Ben Simmons, the other one that never wanted to
yeah,
play.
yeah. That
Um,
washed out. Well, they should just shut everything down. Shut Paul George down. Let him get healthy. Actually get some surgery for Joel Embiid. Shut him down, get him the surgery, let him heal from the surgery, and come back and play because put the tourniquet on it is not working. It's
right,
not working. And you don't want to lose your most valuable asset that they have right now. So I would just shut it. I would just shut it down. We're not going to the playoffs, you know, not without Embiid. They're not going to go far without Embiid. So I would just shut Paul George down, let him get healthy too.
right.
And then you could come back next season with a healthy Embiid, healthy Paul George that can help Maxi and see what this 76ers team is all about.
And that's because what is it? It's his left knee, isn't it? That's what always gives him that always gives him the
Left knee gives him
problem.
problems. Yeah. And he's tweaked that right knee a little bit. But you
Sure, I'm sure.
overexert with your other extremity when one is ailing you.
Right, 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 right. So when AD is going to be out, is it for the year? Or he's going to be out. It's for the year. AD for the
Oh,
Mavs.
he's going to be out some weeks because I think it's an abdominal
Oh yeah,
injury he's
that's
dealing with.
yeah.
I think it's an abdominal. It's a abdomen. I think it's a tear. I think there's a tear on his abdomen, but he's tweaked it before.
Right.
Yeah. So he's gonna be down. He's gonna be down a few weeks, I know. But I'm not sure if it's gonna be for the whole season, but he's gonna be down a few weeks.
Yeah, it ain't much left of it. I mean, that's the plan. Well, my thing with him, if they can get him healthy, and really, I think the only way you get him healthy is if you come. I mean, we're talking next year. We're not. I don't think
Yeah.
we're talking this year about. I
I,
think
I
yeah, I don't think that they're. But I'm saying if he comes back healthy, I mean, do you think Dallas could put it together with him if he can stay healthy with the rest
if
of the
he can
cast?
stay, yeah, if he can stay healthy, and if Clay can find that shot that he had before his injury, there
Right,
would be a
right, right,
definite problem in the West. There'd be a definite problem because now AD gets to play power forward, which he wants to play. He doesn't have to
right.
worry about the responsibilities of a center, play more loosely, more freely, So yes, they could, especially with now the only thing about Dallas is with Kyrie. Kyrie is excellent. He's excellent at everything. Shot, create his own shot, get to the hole, drive, get a bucket, catch a foul. But can he be that floor general?
Right.
Can he be the floor general? That's the only thing. And I love Kyrie. I love how he plays. I love his game and everything. But can he be that general on the floor to where when guys get the missing shots or when you got two or three people shots off and he's like, hey, let's dial back in and get back to our offense, which I'm pretty sure he's capable of doing. But is but I feel like sometimes you have to be that type. You got to be a Jimmy Butler type, a Chris Paul type. You know, those guys that a Gary Payton type that can take a game over. And of course he can take a game over, but I'm saying when it's time to lead the team, can he do that?
Right.
He's doing a pretty good job now, when I'm contradicting myself. But these are just questions that come up when it comes to playoff time.
So going into the gambling aspect for the futures
All
for
right.
the NBA, and I think this is so they got Boston favored at plus 185. And they
Mm-hmm.
got Oklahoma City at plus 200. Here's where it gets tricky. They got Cleveland at plus 650. So they're not giving Cleveland a lot of love, and which is Cleveland is number one team in the league as far as winning by a little bit, by a game or two. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lakers are plus 1600. Golden State, obviously. I mean, Clippers are 5,000. But you look at those four, or you look at that plus 650. Cleveland has a really good chance of winning the championship. They have a really good backcourt. They really
Mm-hmm.
got a really good backcourt, and a backcourt that a lot of people told them they should get rid of, implode it, and send them away, but they ignored it, and
Right.
it shows because they got the number one record in the NBA, but they're not really get. I mean, they're not giving them a lot, like I said, and this will change as the season uh this will change in the weeks to come. But if you can get Cleveland at plus 650, plus 500, I like that. And given Boston, not taking anything away from Boston, because Boston's a heck of a team. Um,
Hmm.
but it's been a while since we've seen a repeat in basketball, hasn't it? And
Been a
championship.
while. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
it's
a
been
while.
a yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah,
So
it's changed hands over the last few years. It's changed hands quite a bit.
yeah. So yeah, right. Sure has. Denver, Milwaukee. Yeah, so yeah. And then
Boston,
Boston, Denver, Milwaukee. Not
Milwaukee.
Boston was the last one, but you're right.
Yeah.
It has changed. But yeah, to see it, I don't know. So, like I said, I mean, if you can get them at plus 650, that's not anything to bad. And there's a couple other notes. I mean, depending the road the Lakers have to take, they're plus 1600. I mean, that's not a bad, throw 20, $30 on there. It's not really, because depending on the road that they have, they could win it. um like I said, the only thing that concerns me and Lou is, can they beat a big team 4 out of 7? That's
Hmm.
they can beat them. Like I'd put them against, you put the Lakers against anybody and it could go either way. There's nobody
Right.
scared of each other. I mean, them in Cleveland's a good game. Them in Oklahoma. I mean, in Denver. But can you beat the bigs 4 times? You got to beat them 4 times,
Right.
and
Right.
that's the part that when that's why they're plus. That's why they're plus 1600. So that's kind of the other deal. I'm trying to see. Is there anyone else in here that I kind of could say Oklahoma's plus 210? This is one of the sites. It don't mean it's the written law. I had somebody there tonight that was going back and forth with me, and I said every site has. It was the other night. It was, if I remember off top, it had somebody had one site had LeBron at 26 and a half at negative 115. Another site had it at negative 140. Well, if you're going to
Mhm.
make that bet, you want to take the 115. That's getting better money on your action. And they're
Right.
like, "Well," and I said, "Man, they're all different. You have to look at them. Very seldom are they might be lined up on one thing and off on another. Sometimes one's
Hmm.
giving you better odds than the other one. Some of them change the over the under. It may be 6 over here, but it's 8 over there. So
Right.
you got. I mean, if you're going to play multiples, that's cool. So what I'm saying is, I'm saying that my numbers aren't. I mean, I'm saying this is off this site today, and it could change tomorrow. It could be, whatever. But like I said, I like the Nuggets are plus 1200. Um, I mean, that's not a bad. I mean, that's another. The only thing with the Nuggets is the Nuggets are a really really good team. They just don't look hungry anymore since they won the. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
they're missing that little snarl they had. Um,
Yeah, they're
it-
hunger. It's like
yeah, yeah.
it's like
It's
they need an enemy. They don't really have an enemy.
right,
You
right,
know,
right.
something they can lean on. They need some negativity to lean on a little bit.
They need some. They need some motivation. They need a little bit
Yeah,
of
motivation. Yeah, motivation. A little
negative. But
motivation.
sometimes they need a nemesis. They need a nemesis. They gotta have, and a lot of people are like that. They
Right.
gotta have an enemy. But yeah, they're like I said. Check out the futures. Pay attention to here lately. Luca's been really good about hitting his points too. He's been
Yes.
real. He's a good. He makes for a good prop. Uh, and I mean, there's a bunch of good players that hit their numbers and stuff, but just keep an eye on them. And the good thing is, you can look up what they hit the last 5 games. Again, we have
Hmm.
more information at our fingertips right now than ever before. Still, no guarantee that it's a winner, but
Right.
that being said, at least they give you some more.
Yeah, it'll help you with your odds.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back here. Home score. Let me go home. Let me see. I want to go stand. Let me go stand. So I think in the I think in the West or in the Eastern Conference, the one that not gonna they're not gonna make a run, but don't be surprised if the Pistons upset someone in a series, one series, and then
I agree with you on that, Tony. I agree
yeah,
with
I
you on
mean,
that.
yeah, Detroit to upset one team in a series, and because they play, they play their Detroit tough ball, and they're a good team, and they're easily looked over. Um, but that's what changes the 7 game series versus which we will get into after break, which which
Hmm.
makes which makes March Madness so special because it's one
Right.
time. There's no
One and done.
one and done.
Yeah, you
And
don't.
so
Yeah, you don't get a second chance. You lose.
there,
You lose by 1 point. You lost,
yeah. What
and,
Mickey
and that's
say? There
devastating.
is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow, Rock,
There
and
is no
that's
tomorrow.
tomorrow, and that's the difference. You know, with the NBA playoffs, and so pick your teams, pick them smart when it does, because a couple weeks it'll be starting. Um, pick your games. The Lakers always have a tendency of starting off slow in game one. Don't know why. They can win the whole thing. For some reason, that game one,
That
Lakers,
game one.
they just kind of like they're kind of figuring it out. And sometimes
Right.
Boston does the same. And it's weird. They're a powerhouse. They may lose the first one and win the next four. That's just they
Hmm.
got this thing about game ones. Boston plays like that too at times. Because if you can knock Boston off their rhythm, boy, they start doing that little twaddle thing, like, oh, wait, I don't know. But it's hard
Right.
to knock them off that. You got to be a special team to knock them off their deal. All right. So when we get back, we're gonna talk about March Madness, talk about there's some football action going on, some trades, um, people trying to cover the uh, cover the cap salary cap. So
Hmm.
we will get to that. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Big Lou, Tony G. Remember to reach out to us on Facebook, Sportsbook, KM Radio, DM us. You can hit us in both. We'll answer right back. Someone will get back to you in a timely fashion. All right, we'll be back right here in KM Radio where we go. Bam.
Hey.
KM Radio where we go ham. It's Tony G, Big Lou, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. They're on college basketball, March Madness, March 18th. March 18th. We talk about it all the time, and we always talk about the one and done, and that's what makes March Madness very special. I don't watch. So I watch a little bit of college basketball during the year. Nothing's, but it's just something about the March Madness. It's just watching these teams that nobody knows who they are, pulling up upsets and just making the amazing. To me, it's pretty spectacular. Um,
Hmm.
and there's so many conferences. That's the other thing. There's a lot of conferences. I mean, there's the Big Sky Conference, the Big South
Right.
Conference, Big Ten Conference, Big West
Hmm.
Conference, Coastal Athletic Association, Conference USA. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Horizon League. I mean, it's just the Ivy League. I mean, it's just Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. That should be like, hey, what's your job? I'm Northwest Regional Manager of nothing. I'm just That's what I am. But anyway, but
Absolutely.
absolutely, it's like, oh, okay, that guy sounds pretty important. Um, but the usuals are in a good St. John's, Duke. Um,
Yeah.
one thing that I will say to watch out. I'm not saying they could. They of course, everyone has a chance of winning it all, But St. John's has a really good defense. Keep
Yes.
that in your mind when it comes down to the unders. Because
Hmm.
they have that stupid defense. Um, and then you have Michigan plays tough. Um, they can score. They definitely can score some points.
Hmm.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could cause a little bit of um, of damage.
Hmm. Especially
Alabama,
the
all that.
ones, right?
Yeah,
All the
yeah,
teams in the top 25, they could do some damage in this tournament.
yes, yes. And it's funny because the SEC is starting to become kind of dominant in
Yeah,
the
they're becoming
basketball.
yeah, they're becoming prevalent in the basketball tournaments and stuff. So, you
Yeah,
know,
and I was
shout
like,
out to
oh,
the SEC for bringing us both football and basketball, uh, bringing attention to that.
yeah. I was trying to pull up. Let me see. I was trying to pull up, and I may be in the wrong. Let me see here.
And a lot of these teams have the same record. A lot of these teams have the same record, but they're separated by uh, wins and I guess strength of schedule or strength of the opponent that they played last.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no Auburn's number one, Duke's number
Yeah.
two, Houston's
Hmm.
number three, Tennessee's number four, Florida's five, St. John's with that defense is number six,
Hmm.
Alabama's number seven, Michigan State's Michigan State is eight, Texas Tech is nine, and Iowa State is 10. And there's we
Hmm.
got the top. That's the top 10 out of
That's the top
the top
10.
yeah,
Right.
out of 25. I mean, you got AP poll, you got coaches poll. Usually they're pretty darn close. Every now and then
Hmm.
they'll move. I think Lou. I think sometimes they just move one just to move one, just to say we moved one
Yeah.
because our we
Yeah.
look at it differently. It was like
Right.
seriously, man. Yeah. Like here's an example. Coaches poll has Michigan State at seven, Alabama at
Hmm.
eight. AP 25 has Alabama at seven, Michigan at eight. It's like okay,
Yeah.
you proved your point.
Who's your favorite?
Um, yeah, who's your favorite?
Who's your
But
favorite?
yeah, there's a lot of and then you can Google. Here's another thing that's so great. You can Google college. You can Google uh, March Madness upsets. What schools have pulled the most upsets? And there's a couple. Chicago of some. There's a couple schools that periodically have pulled. They haven't won it, but they've knocked off They've knocked off first round, second round people, which is a pretty amazing stat. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Uh, it really is. You got Duke and Auburn right there at one and two, um,
Hmm.
and that they're going to be so heavily favored. But
Oh yeah.
you got to watch who they play in the bracket. Everybody wants a The bracket is what is that? 1 in a million? You could cover that bracket. I know it's
One in
been
a
done
million.
before. Yeah, I mean it's
Yes.
yeah, once or twice, but I mean they'd be getting that. They'd be get your bracket, and I'm like Jesus, this is really something.
Yeah, it's too much. I can't. I'll sometimes I may do two. I'm normally a
Oh,
one bracket guy. I just do a
right,
bracket and just go for it because it's too much work and it's
yeah,
too many variables. The more brackets I put together, there's too many variables that I have to work myself through, my own intuition, teams that I like. I tried not to let my feelings for a team dictate how I bet. I really
sure.
try to go off of the information that's given in the books and be following the team and the players. But if I do those two brackets, three brackets, that's how the brackets get built. Okay, this is my This is my go-to bracket. Then I
Right.
have my emotional bracket for the teams that's playing.
Right.
So I set them up like that, and it has not worked for me. so
Right.
so this season we're going one bracket, and I'm going to do the homework, and whatever team I pick for that win is just going to have to be locked in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you start doing the brackets and you start, it's easy to go, hey, I think Auburn's going to beat such and such, such and such, such and such. But even that's
Right.
not because number one seeds have been knocked out in the first round by small colleges. Just for the
Mm-hmm.
biggest, one of the biggest factors is the coming in going, this is going to be easy, and then because you're playing somebody that has nothing to lose, nothing.
Right.
And so they're not even supposed to be in the same locker room setup with you, and they're playing their
Right.
hearts out. This is their championship game, and
Right.
sometimes it comes together, and that's their final four. That's it. That's their night, championship night. Is they could go,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, do you remember that time we beat Auburn in game one? Yeah, I remember. You know, what I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Or we beat Duke. That's kind of a big deal.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
so or Houston or Tennessee or Florida. I mean, just yeah, it's these are major colleges going up against um, a lot of smaller. I mean, really small colleges. You got
Mm-hmm.
like one that if you're from this area, that's like Natchitoches Demons basketball. If they win their
Right.
conference, they're going to be in this. They're going to be in the March Madness. And they
Right.
actually pulled an upset up 10 years ago. They beat a number one seed, like Iowa,
Yes.
whoever they beat, and it was like, holy cow, that just happened. Yeah, that's
Right.
yes, yeah, yeah. That just because these schools, the small schools, they don't have the big money like Auburn, Duke, Houston, Tennessee, Florida, St. John's, Alabama. And I can go on Texas Tech,
Right.
Maryland. They just don't have that. And so a lot of times they'll play those teams during the year and they pay them.
Mm-hmm.
They
Right.
pay the school, whatever. Yeah. And it could be shoot seven, $800,000 for you to come out, Natchitoches to come out and play Duke. They're probably going to get destroyed, but at the same time, they got to play Duke. They made, it was a good trip. But yeah, like I said, we love the tournament. We really, I mean, it's just it's really a cool time. To me, it's one of the purest setups that we have next to the NFL because the NFL is one and done. So,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
like, and I not that I don't like the series, but there's something romantic about one and done. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
just um to me.
There's
I'm
a
sure other
yeah,
people.
there's a
Yeah.
more sense of urgency
Yes.
because you
Yes.
got this
Yes.
one chance to move on. So you're leaving it all out on the court every game.
Every game, and that's how the NFL. And I know basketball and baseball can't be played like that. Um, but it is. There's something romantic about the whole sporting one night. David and Goliath, the whole whatever.
Yeah.
However you want to. But anyway, yeah, looking forward to that. Keep your eyes on some long shots. Like I said, you can Google all kind of stuff. Um, Very interesting. We'll be covering it. That's for sure. All right, let's go over here. All right, Debo Sanders to Washington. Big Lou doesn't know about that trade. Lou, tell me about it.
Well, good trade for the Commanders, yes. Good trade for Jaden Daniels, yes. Is Debo enough to get them past Philly? That's the
Oh, I
question.
don't. Yeah, that's well. I don't. So do you think? So I like Debo because he's a dual threat, kind of a
Yeah.
Thurman Thomas kind of a player. Um,
Yeah.
he can catch. He can. So I do like that. Um, he gonna have to say he's gonna have to stay healthy. Um, I think it's a piece. I don't think it's
Yeah.
the answer, but I think it's
Right.
another piece to the puzzle that is going to make the Commanders nasty. Um, yeah, definitely going to make them nasty. They're going to be. It definitely improves their game.
Yeah.
Them staying healthy. Now,
Yeah.
I was trying to pull it up. There's rumors that Metcalf wants to go somewhere, and I can't remember who was trying to get him. There was talk of Metcalf because
Yeah.
I think if you can get him, that's a huge
That's
pickup.
a huge addition. Because
That's
not
a number
only is he's big as a linebacker, but he's got speed
right.
and catchability is off the charts. So I'm scanning free agency right now,
It
and
was something they were throwing back and forth. So he's to me he's a lot like Robotron, the guy who played for Detroit. Remember
yeah,
him? Megatron. He's
Megatron, yeah,
big,
Megatron,
fast, could run
big
around,
fast
catch the ball. Yeah.
receiver, run all the routes.
Yes.
Can't nobody do nothing with him. You can't press him. He'll
Right.
jump
Right.
over
Yeah.
you and hat top you. You know,
Yes. Um. So I'm waiting. So they still haven't done anything, to my knowledge, with our guy over in Minnesota. I guess they haven't made their decision exactly yet
right
on
now. They was throwing out there that that Sam Donald might get a possible tag. They was thinking about tagging him and bringing him back one more year.
so what would that be
Is he
35
eligible?
million? Yeah, I don't know. See, I is he because he
Is
went
he
to
tag eligible?
yeah, I don't know because he went to the Jets and then he did a little bit of this and I don't
Hmm.
know. I mean he's not on his rookie contract. I don't know if he ever really got a big contract.
Did he get
Um
a 1 year deal last year?
I thought that's what it
His
was. I
previous
mean, you could
season? I thought it was
yeah,
was it a 1 year deal?
yeah. So I guess you could franchise him and what but that puts him at 35 million. And
I think
then every
so.
year it goes up. Then every year
It
it goes
goes
up.
up every year.
What's crazy
So
is that that's becoming the money we're willing to throw at somebody for quarterback for 1 year, $35 million.
mhm.
It's a lot of money.
Wow, it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
a
mean,
lot for
it's
1
just
year.
yeah.
Yeah.
T Higgins was tagged again.
Yes.
Um,
Second time in a row.
so he's gonna be he's making money, but it's just
I think he
he can
wants
make a
out.
lot. Yeah, it could go south because if he, I wonder why. I mean, I wonder what they're. He could go somewhere else. Somebody else would snatch him. Um, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why they won't give him a long term deal. And
Why not? I mean, you can see that he's needed and it works, and Joe Burrow needs him.
yeah,
So why not keep your franchise quarterback? Now, I know you can't keep everybody, but
right. No,
right now, you can keep T. Higgins. He's a valuable asset. I don't understand. Sometimes I don't understand the Bengals concept when it comes to that side of it. When it comes to the personnel side of it, I don't quite get it sometimes.
yeah, yeah. I don't. I agree with you there. I mean, they could. I mean, if you don't want him, you could have traded him for. You could have traded him for got a bunch. I mean, you could have got a bunch of draft points. I think the problem with Cleveland, not Cleveland, but with Cincinnati is I don't know if I question sometimes how serious are they, how devoted are they to really winning? You know what I mean? Like they'll do. I
Right.
mean, Burrow got
Yeah.
paid. They got the defensive uh and what's his name? Henderson.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying I get that, but they need so many more pieces. And I like I said before, I know there's a whole committee working on numbers. I can
Mhm.
just imagine how many people it takes just to come up with a contract to go back and forth and lawyers getting
Right.
involved and knowing that, hey, we can give him this much and we could guarantee this much, but we can't do that because he's going to need. I mean, it's a whole staff in itself. Um,
Mhm.
but this is the third season that Higgins and Cincinnati have battled over a long term commitment because he wants a long term deal. Um,
Yeah.
so
And they should. They should work something out with him.
yeah,
Got to keep them
yeah,
three. Got to keep them three. Higgins, Burrow, Chase. It's got hands down. They got to keep. They need to keep that and work it. And of course they got the defensive player locked in. But
yeah,
I
yeah. They
think
got.
Higgins is important to that team, and they need to do whatever it takes to keep him there. Because
I
if they
agree.
lose him, they're going to regret it. Because all they're going to do is double chase. They're going to take him out of the game. And now
Right,
you got to
right,
rely on a renegade that's average, but not above average.
right.
And you got to rely on other players. So keep 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 the people that keep your X factors.
And Stafford's staying in L.A. I guess
Mm-hmm.
he didn't. I mean, he's been in the league for a minute. You know what I mean? It's so.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
saying I'm mad at Rodgers for getting paid later in his career, but I think as a as a organization, you have to really start looking at, somebody in their 36, 37 probables. Yeah, there's the Tom Brady story. We all got that one story when he went to Tampa Bay. I get it, but I
mhm.
think in the long run, I think staying away from deals like that is beneficial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
And then it's Tom Brady. And he got Gronk to come back. And,
he did. They're
a
saying
lot
that
of
Gronk's
players
coming back again.
I
I
don't
don't.
know. There's this rumor out there that, now there was a commercial that he made with Sean Payton where he
Okay,
was, talking to him about coming back, but it was a commercial. It was a commercial for some brand that's sponsoring the team or.
okay, okay.
But yeah, that was out there, but I don't think I think he's having too much fun over on the commentating side.
He took a lot of abuse. I know
Yes.
that.
Yes, he
Took a
did.
lot of abuse. Um, definitely took a lot of abuse. Might want to look at that. I don't know. We will see. Stafford. I mean, they basically had to restructure his deal. That's basically what
Pretty
it was. It
much.
was come. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
there was they just so basically what they did was they let him go and see what his worth was,
right,
and then they worked out a deal to kind of keep it close or match what the market was asking for him to get him to stay,
right,
and probably put a little bit of icing on the top of it to get him to stay there, as
right.
opposed to moving around.
Well, they're trying. I mean, they're trying to invest in their younger players and keep it.
Yeah.
Keep because they went all in on the Super Bowl, and then it took them. It took a while. They went to that one Super Bowl loss with Gurley,
Hmm.
and then came back won. But then they had spent so much that everybody, people left and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, we're," and so that money hung with them for at least 3 years, and I think they're just now getting out of that. And I think the last piece is him, and so you have to kind
Hmm.
of because they look good this year. They really did.
Yes,
He
they did.
they had a good product. They're lacking some stuff. I mean, I know they're going to probably get some more wide receivers, um, younger.
Hmm.
And they're moving pieces around. Anything going on with the Saints? Have the Saints made
Well, they're
any
trying
noise?
to they um they're indecisive about David Carr, even though they're trying to get him to restructure his contract. I don't think he's going to bite on that. I think he's going to
Really?
try to get every dime. I think he's going to try to get every dime that he can, which I'm not mad at him about. But they really want him to take a ownership discount because even with the cap going up, it's not going to help the Saints much.
No, no.
So they can't really bargain anything. There's talk about letting Honey Badger go and a couple other players on the defense that's got high salaries. There's talk about letting them go. So they got to do the smart thing, reboot. You know, everyone loves Spencer Rattler, so they have a quarterback. For the future. It's just what are you going to do with David Carr? Because
They're
to
they're
me,
stuck with him 2 more years.
yes, to me that was a bad move. I felt like they could have got a better quarterback. I'm just not saying that Derek Carr is trash, but I believe they could have got a better quarterback cheap. But that was Dennis Allen's guy.
Yep, yep.
So
That was
be
a
it.
lot. Yeah, so be it. And I really thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to do okay. I mean, and he had some glimpses, but then it just seemed
Mhm.
like it seemed like on the outside looking in, he just wasn't meshing with the team.
Right.
It just didn't look right. It was.
Wasn't messing with the team, and you also have a defensive minded coach. Dennis Allen's always been D backs and defense. He's
Yeah,
never had to worry about the offense. Now you're a head coach. Yes, you have an offensive coordinator in Kubiak. Well, you did. He went to Seattle, but you had there was a challenge for him. To try to get that offense going. You're never going to replace off Sean Payton's offensive genius,
right.
but there were some candidates out there that they could have looked at. But they wanted to stay in house. And most of the time, staying in the house doesn't work because you're just plugging a person that was a part of that team and you're expecting the same results. It doesn't
Yeah,
work that way. Sometimes, especially when you have a legend like Sean Payton, sometimes you got to go a totally different direction, to regain a purpose or reestablish, okay, so what is this team? You know, what's the heart of this team? And sometimes you have to get just a totally different person in there to change the culture, to rebuild the culture of the team. And they're still living off of the Drew Brees and Sean Payton Super Bowl. That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. Now it's time to reinvent the culture and bring your expectations down. Let's just get to the playoffs. Let's get 500 first
you
and
know
work
what's
our way from there.
what's crazy, Lou, is the Saints started off 2-0. They beat Dallas in week 2, and I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, whoa, and then they beat Dallas. I was like, oh, they lost 7 straight after that, and I was like, and it was they lost to Philly like I don't know 14-12 or 6 whatever. It was a low score, and then they lost to Atlanta by 2. Now I'm looking at
Mm-hmm.
it. They barely lost to Kansas City. It got killed by Tampa. Denver
Yeah.
got them. LA beat them up pretty bad. Carolina came back and won by 1 point. It
Yeah.
just
And these are
wasn't.
and these are
Yeah,
divisional rivals that they're losing to.
right, 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 right. Yes, sir. I
So,
mean, so it just it didn't car. He just doesn't. It's not meshing. It's just not meshing. I mean, they're gonna have to come up with something for this year to put him. If they're gonna stick with him, they're gonna have to come up with come up with something. I
yeah,
mean,
some type
it's
of
gonna
plan
have
to
to.
cut down the turnovers
Yeah. Oh, geez.
because
Yeah.
he was a turnover machine last season to the point where, I was hitting the top of my head like, what did you see? What did you see there? I'm a civilian. I'm an armchair quarterback. If I see it, you should be able to see it in real time
Yeah.
on the field.
it's it definitely, like I said, it was disappointing. It really was,
Yeah, it's
and
fun
but
to
it
see.
looks like they are going to stick with them. Everything I'm reading, I'm glazing through, is they're going to stick with
Yeah,
them in 2025. And when you use the word stick them, they're kind of stuck with them. So they're going to try
yeah.
to make the best they can do with them. Try to get them at the um, and hopefully it will. Lord, hopefully it will work out. Would like to see them back in just back in the
Hmm. Back in
winning
foul
ways.
contention at least.
Yeah, absolutely. That would. I mean, that's. I mean, it was kind of great watching them during that era
Yeah.
when they had because there was they had 2 more years that they could have won. There's 2 more times during the playoffs that they really were the best team, and it just didn't
Hmm.
work out. It just wasn't
Didn't
meant to
work out that
be.
way.
Yeah. But like I said, guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Don't forget to hit us up on Sportsbook, Facebook, the KM Radio. Reach out to us if you have an event, you have something you want to be on, or that the radio station can help you with. Just reach out to us. All right, guys. Want to wish everyone a great night. Big Lou, KM Radio, the Sportsbook, 8 o'clock on KM Radio, where we go ham.
And